All right, back again for another deep dive.
Always a pleasure.
This time, let's talk map makeovers in Overwatch 2. Specifically, what they've done to some classic maps.
Oh, you mean like Circuit Royale, Dorado?
You got it. Havana and Numbani too. We're talking first, second, A and D, third points. All the juicy changes, you know, if you're trying to climb that ladder.
Gotta know the maps.
Exactly. So let's jump in with Circuit Royale, shall we? The first point. It's like they went on a mission to destroy spawn camping.
Yeah, spawn camping, the bane of every Overwatch player's existence.
Right, new exits, flanking routes adjusted, more cover for attackers. Feels like they really wanted to make those pushes.
Less painful.
Yeah.
For sure. No one wants to spend half the match stuck respawning, right?
Absolutely. It's about giving attackers more options, more ways to breathe.
Like imagine you're playing Tracer,
Oh yeah.
and suddenly you've got these new flanking routes you can just zip around, harass the enemy backline.
Changes the whole feel of the early game. Love it. But the changes don't stop there. Second point, they've given a bunch more love to attackers pushing the high ground.
More cover, yeah, definitely saw that.
Better spawn protection, even a brand new flank route to take that rear high ground. But here's the subtle one. They lowered the hill a bit,
Yeah.
angled the road leading up to it. Why even mess with that, you know?
You know, it's all about the field. Before, attackers were just totally exposed coming around that bend.
Sitting ducks.
Right. Now, with the hill lower, a little more cover, less vulnerable to snipers, and that long-range fire. It's small, but
Makes a difference. Sneaky.
it is.
And they keep that energy going into the third point, too. Even more options for attackers to get out of spawn. A wider flank route to that high ground pool area. Plus some extra cover around it.
They definitely want some dynamic engagements there.
Definitely. And then with that improved sightline they've added, attackers can actually poke at defenders holding the final area. Before, it was such a pain to even get eyes on them.
Oh yeah, for sure. Now attackers have at least a chance to apply some pressure, maybe even turn the tide before that last push.
All right, Dorado time. First point, we're seeing that familiar theme again. Less spawn camping.
It's a good theme.
Right. They adjusted high ground cover, streamlined flank routes, and did something, I don't know how to describe it, geometry adjustments in the market area.
It's like they're giving attackers more tools, you know?
Yeah.
More ways to find cover, outmaneuver defenders in those tight spaces.
Makes sense, especially for those heroes all about quick movement and flanking.
Exactly.
Okay, second point on Dorado, there's a new staircase, like a whole new staircase.
Easier to get to the high ground, right?
Yep. Got to open up some flanking opportunities. Plus, they gave attackers access to the courthouse area. Now, that sounds interesting strategically.
For sure. Attacking from multiple angles, defenders can't predict where you're coming from.
Keeps them guessing.
Exactly.
Dorado's third point, they just added cover
Yeah.
after the choke point. Seems simple.
But it's huge. Think about it. You barely made it through that choke, maybe took some damage. That little bit of cover could be everything.
Regroup, heal up, plan your next move.
Instead of getting wiped, it gives attackers a moment to breathe.
Havana time. First point is like a full-on makeover.
They did a lot there.
They reduced sightlines into the attacker spawn, added more exit options, even toned down those high ground spots for defenders. What's the thinking there?
Well, Havana was always a defender's map, you know.
Oh yeah.
These changes, they make things a bit more fair, more balanced, give attackers a better shot.
Second point on Havana, they focused on quality of life stuff.
Yeah.
Wider doorways, cleaner routes, making things smoother.
Which, you know, don't underestimate those minor changes. Wider doorways mean tanks aren't getting stuck anymore. Rotations are so much smoother.
Makes sense.
Plus, they closed off those little holes in the walls. Junkrat players are gonna be sad.
No more spam damage. Nice.
Small changes, big impact on how the map feels.
Third point of Havana,
Yeah.
they completely redid the attacker spawn. Redesigned the interior, added more routes. Looks like they wanted to give attackers more ways to get out safely.
And strategically.
And strategically.
Yeah.
Right. They also reduced sightlines from that fort wall. That seems like a pretty big deal.
Oh, totally. Before, defenders could just see everyone coming out of spawn, made it so hard to even get near the point.
Yeah, I remember that.
Now, with those sightlines reduced and the path into the fort more streamlined, it's less about chaotic scrambles and more about...
Thinking things through.
Yeah.
Being strategic.
Exactly.
Last stop, Numbani. First point got a huge overhaul. They moved the attacker spawn way closer to the point.
Thank goodness, those runbacks were brutal.
Seriously, especially at the start of a match. Feels like they wanted to make the game faster, more action-packed.
Less running, more fighting.
Exactly. And speaking of fighting, they lowered some high ground, made flanking routes easier to access, and they kind of merged those paths in the building behind the payload.
That merging thing is interesting. Creates a more centralized area for close quarters combat.
And more flanking opportunities.
Yep. Harder for defenders to hold them off now.
Second point on Numbani, defenders get some love. Forward spawn points to reduce their runbacks.
Keeps things fair.
Right, can't forget about the defenders. And there's that new staircase near the attacker's forward spawn. Gives them quick access to high ground.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see some more aggressive plays.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Plus, the new connecting path above the choke point. Perfect for flanking.
So many options.
Right.
Third point, they got rid of a sign and a tree. I don't know what to say about that.
Even small changes can matter, you know?
I guess so.
That sign and tree, maybe they were blocking a sight line or something. Now there's a new way to move around.
True. Every detail matters, right?
Exactly.
So overall, looking at all these changes on all 4 maps, it really feels like they're all about making the game better. Less frustration with spawn camping, more power to the attackers, just more balanced and fun for everyone.
Makes you wonder how these changes will impact pro play, you know? New strategies, maybe some heroes will become more popular.
It'll be interesting to see how the pros adapt.
The game's always changing. That's what keeps it fresh.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the Overwatch 2 map makeovers. And hey, listeners, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, what have you noticed?
What crazy strategies are you trying out?
Yeah.
Let us know. Keep those conversations going, keep experimenting, and most importantly, have fun.